Welcome to Encouragement at Emmanuel. Have you ever been on the mission field? Have you ever taken a trip? Do you have your passport? Let's get to it. Hey, welcome to Encouragement at Emmanuel. I am so glad that you're joining us today. Just want to give a shout out to everybody who's hopped on. LaWanda, I don't know if you sit on your phone, not literally. I don't know if you got your phone in your hand, but sister, let me tell you something. Between you and Heidi Allen, you're always those first ones sitting at the gate when we open it up. So welcome. And I would just like to give a shout out to Brother Swartz and Brother Jason. I'm not sure if it's you or your wife, but I was just able to meet with your son last night. We had a great conversation about the things of God. So welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Miss Allen, coming in a little bit too late. And then we have Tibbs alum up there in Connecticut, Brother Josh Clapp. And so we're glad to have you on, Brother Clapp. And then Miss Nicole, she was our secretary here. And let me tell you a funny story. So I had two secretaries at the time. One was Nicole Drewlard and one was Joy Britt. And so Nicole, same day, Nicole says, Pastor, can I see you? Yeah, come in. She said, Pastor, I just need to let you know that I'm in love with Josh, which I totally didn't understand. I'm in love with Josh. And she said, I will be having to quit to go prepare to get married. And I was like, oh no. I promise you, an hour later, Joy Britt comes in and says, Pastor, I need to let you know I'm in love with Robert Bleak and I'm gonna be leaving. Y'all, in one day, Cupid hit the office and I lost two secretaries in one day. So that's not even fair. So I thought I'd just throw that out there. But what a joy to have everybody on. Would you do me a favor? I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and text, email. The number and the email are coming up at the bottom of the screen, 903-265-3286. And please make sure that you're interacting. If you have a question, go ahead and text it in, email it in, and we'll try to get to the questions. However, if you want them answered live, you can super chat us, and then right at the bottom of your screen, we can super chat, and then what we'll do is we'll answer them on the air. I just want to give a shout out to a couple of people. First, I think that I want to give a shout out to congratulations to Frankie and Micaiah. They look at that baby boy, and Joel, Frankie Joel Sanchez, and brother Frankie and Miss Micaiah. What a great couple, what a great family. Frankie's from New York, Micaiah is from California, and so I'm excited for Frankie's family. This is their second grandchild, and for Micaiah, this is the first. So brother and Mrs. Herbert are in Arkansas, and they're traveling as quick as they can to get down here. Nothing like grandchildren. I didn't know I could love until I met Kelly. I didn't know how deep my love went until I had kids. But I had no idea how fanatical my love was until I had grandkids. They can get away with murder. So Brother Herbert, I know how prim and proper you are. You got a killer beard. That's all getting ready to change, but you will enjoy every single minute of it. So congratulations to them. Birthday shout outs on this day, and happy birthday to Brother Bowen and Hunter Bryant, just a little guy, David Hahn, Debbie Webb. Happy birthday to y'all. And then on the 19th is Miss Cindron, Miss Thomas. And then on the 20th, we have four birthdays: Sarah Bryant, Michelle Sigler, Demetrius Way, Bonnie Whedon. And I've known Miss Bonnie for ages, so happy birthday to you. Then on the 21st, good night. There's a lot of people born in February. On the 21st, it's good though. I'm not complaining. 21st is Bethany and Zayden and Anthony. Happy birthday to y'all. And then on the 22nd, standing alone is Nathaniel De La Rosa. And then on the 23rd is Robert Gaza, Indovani Jackson. I just murdered that one, didn't I? Brian Karate, Ian Kimbrough, Leslie Morin, Ramona Peck, Ashley Quintanilla. Good grief. And then rounding out on the last two is Wayne Blanks and Maria Jimenez. So happy birthday to all of you. And then the anniversary, two precious people that work with our youth here at Emmanuel, and that is Helen and Donnie Plant. And so we sure do appreciate them very, very much. And Miss Whedon is watching. Miss Whedon, we sure do love you, and thank you for all your years of service there in our bus ministry. All those years you picked up people and your faithfulness. Just want to say thank you to that. Before I go any further, I want to give you some encouragement from God's Word. Hebrews 13:5. At the very end of it, God makes a promise: I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. And I cannot think of a better word of encouragement this morning than to let you know that no matter what you're going through, wherever you're at, God, our God, does not leave. He does not forsake. And I heard a great illustration of that that I would use here right now, but I'm going to use it in a sermon, so I'm not going to use it here right now. And I think that's how preachers do it. Hey, just before we get into a special today, are you ready? I love it when our young people give me jokes. So one of our young ladies, Brianna Hollifield, she gave me a pastor's recommendation for Tibbs because she'll be enrolling this fall. But she gave me Pop-Tarts. So Brianna, I'm throwing you under the bus. Here you go. Here's what she said. Are you ready? Please say good things on my recommendation. Ha, ha, ha. And Pop-Tarts will get you, this is the keys to the kingdom. So anything that you want Pop-Tarts, you just keep sending them my way. But then she put this. And here, you know, we need to do a giveaway. What do y'all think? Hey, stop gossiping over there. We need to do a giveaway, all right? So we're going to give away, I'm going to ask a joke. Are you ready? Here we go. Are you ready? You think people can get the punchline? Yeah. What do we give away? We got Mexican candy that we will send your way. Are you ready? Come on, here we go. Just for the fun of it, everybody in. Get your fingers on the keyboard. Here we go. What do you call a cow with a twitch? What do you call a cow with a twitch? I'm waiting for the very first one. And guess what? I'll send you a Starbucks card. How about that? What do you call a cow with a twitch? You go ahead and respond on the... Yeah, with the twitch. That's a pretty good one. Milkshake. Okay, that's good, but that's not it. So milkshake, no, that's pretty good right there. Hey, we were in California last week, and as you may remember, I did this broadcast from the floor in a rental car with my AirPods on. California happy cow. That's good. That's good. Anyways, come on. Somebody's got to get this. I think it's the worst dad joke ever, but it made me laugh. So last week I was I was in California on the floor doing this broadcast, and a couple of reasons why we were out there. One, I was preaching a revival. Who got it? Miss Hill. That's awesome. And do you even like, Miss Hill, do you even like Starbucks? I don't know if you do or not. I can't remember if where you're at, anyways, let me know. So while we were out there, I was preaching a revival last week in Manteca, California, which is about an hour south, but it was a dual thing. I'm preaching a meeting out there, revival Sunday through Wednesday, but RG has a girlfriend. He's got a girlfriend. In fact, I will tell you this: he has a lot of girlfriends, but he only has one special girlfriend. RG has a syndrome, and this young lady's name is Courtney. Now, for all you Pharisees and liberals out there, yes, she does have her arm around him, and he may be special, but he sure was enjoying that. Because he just got this grin on his face. And I will tell you that when they met 10 years ago, was the only time that they met. And they met 10 years ago. And when they saw each other, it was like time stopped, the music started to play, the wind started to blow, and here these two special needs, they came together, and then the good old Baptist handshake. But they came. I would tell you that it was an instant connect. So what's really crazy about this whole thing is that we decided to meet at the same restaurant that we did 10 years ago when RG was 21, Courtney was 22, and then all of a sudden we walk in, wouldn't you know it, they took took us to the same table. Same table. And I just want to, Jody and Brian, they're great friends of ours, and we just have this special connect. And I just want to say to Jody and Brian, thank you for loving Courtney, and thank you for making her the prim and proper young lady that she is. And may I just say this, praise God that Courtney lives in California and Archie lives here. But the highlight of Emmanuel is that they're going to come visit, and when they come visit, it's going to be something else. RG will be grinning like a Cheshire cat. We're in the middle of our, no. They did a skit now. So they did a skit. So some of the singles put together a skit. And so I think you'll enjoy it. And then just comments. I'm waiting for the sequel skit to come up, but go ahead and enjoy it.
I'm so excited for you to hear my favorite pastor, Pastor Greg. Such an anointed pastor.
Good morning, congregation. I'm Pastor Davis. Pastor Greg is out of town today, so I'll be
Back up,
second.
Pastor. Let's go. I'm not listening to it. No, let's go. No, we're staying. Let's go. No, he's not any good. Sit down. We're staying. What? You already got up. I don't care. Hey, psst, do you want to get brunch after this? No. At this really cute place over on Judson Road. It's called Wendy's Cafe, but they have like just a huge blanket. Okay.
I had struggled to be the captain of my own life.
How am I supposed to listen to anybody who can't even conquer their own struggles?
You imagine dirt, dust, and ash.
Imagination? I don't have an imagination.
You know, that actually reminds me of another story.
Stories? Pastor Gray doesn't ever use stories. He has point 123, point 123, maybe some practical application. Calm down. Hashtag help. Hashtag where's Pastor Gray? Hashtag substitute pastor. I'll tag you in this. Do not tag me. What are you doing? Oh, someone is not feeding me. You're making the whole auditorium smell. What are you doing? Take those off. I'm listening to Pastor Gray shown in front of your voice. It's really good. Shh. I'm not going to do backup pastors. We're in my first experience. It is well. It is well. What are you doing? Abby, what we join together. This is a pigeon. Stop. Is this your card? No. Also get this picture. You know, if Jesus was here, he'd say, I hunger. You're literally getting crumbs on me. Put that away. No, that. Thanks. It is well. It is well.
Amen. Amen. That's good.
Boo! Boo! They're all saying boo! Do you hear that?
That's good.
All right, everybody, let's stand.
This better be a good song.
And we're going to close with a new song this morning.
No!
Hey, I don't know about you, but I'm not quite sure I want to see the sequel of what members think when I am there. But if we do shoot one, I'm going to have all the people who knew me when I was just a kid going, yeah, right, whatever. Hey, we are in the middle of our missions conference, and we have had a great time. And I've enjoyed watching our members interact, and I've enjoyed them. We had the ladies sing last night. In fact, we're going to be closing out the broadcast today with the ladies singing, but we just had a great time. And I was getting a kick. I was sitting in the front row, especially this picture right here with Miss Carrie and her two girls just being able to sing together. I love that. And then Brother Lyons came to us last night about the fact of Bibles for Africa and how God spoke to his heart. And then JJ, that's our Spanish pastor's son. You got to love him. And then that's JJ's uncle. That is one of our men here, Brother Jacob Roche. Then this girls group, we've had them on encouragement at Emmanuel before, but they did such a great job. Then this was a blessing. Brother Ethan Graham is one of our graduates from here. Go back. Brother Ethan Graham is one of our graduates. Just go back one. That picture, it's gone. Okay, so they'll put it back up. But Brother Ethan Graham is going to Scotland and last night he was talking about taking a survey trip in July and going, and I was like, okay, we just got to raise this money. So I asked him, hey, how much is it going to take you for plane tickets to get this thing done? What'd they say, $1,200? $1,200, right? $1,200. So I stood up and I said, look, if you can't put it in right now, go ahead and write your name and put a pledge and put when you can get it in. So we had this combination between pledges and cash. Y'all, there was like $400 and something in pledges. Cash was over $1,000, almost $1,100, I think it was. And you should have seen his face. It was almost like they believe in me. I mean, people believe in me. This is his very first missions conference. This is his very first time presenting. Yesterday in chapel, he preached a sermon that I would like to tell all of you. We're going to be putting them up online through the college website. I'm telling you, you need to go listen to it. It was 30 minutes, 30 minutes, but he has no idea what he said. In fact, it has made such an impact that it's helped me in a couple of counseling sessions in the past 24 hours that God reached down. So I just want to tell Brother Ethan that we are very proud of him. I want to show you real quick before we go into the special I want to give you. Our bookstore is going up. We have clearance from the city. Our concrete can be poured. And so we took a couple of pictures this morning that we would like to show you. And are you going to be able to put them up? Okay. Probably not, but we're going to get to it. Don't you love live? That's what this thing's all about. We'll make sure we get them up. But please pray, because they're going to be pouring the concrete. We're going to be releasing what this looks like. This is the first of 6 buildings going up, and I cannot tell you how excited I am about what the Lord's doing here. Wednesday night of missions conference, we had our young people, they've been working on a deaf special. I hadn't seen it until Wednesday night, but boy, people were telling me about it, and I hope you enjoy it. In the middle of our missions conference, and then Brother Ashcraft's sermon that followed up, they fit hand in hand. And so I hope you'd enjoy this as much as we enjoyed it live. God bless you.
I saw a little boy shuffling sadly down the street. His parents sent him out to beg for food. People just passed by him and he gave up in defeat. He started weeping in the street right where he stood. I walked right over to him to see what I could do. He looked at me with sorrow in his eyes. People said, don't waste your time. That boy, he cannot hear you. And the deaf boy raised his hands and he cried, I am deaf, do you care that my soul is lost? I could hear with my ears, but with my heart. Won't you please learn my language so that I can be saved? I'm a deaf boy, do you care? In the Bible was a deaf man whom the people brought to Jesus. They asked the Lord to put his hands on him. Jesus spoke and gave the word, and then the man could hear. Then he straightway spoke and glorified the King. But here at home at other lands, there are Someone showed me in my language that I could be saved. I'm a deaf soul and someone cared. Won't you please learn our language so the deaf can be saved? We are deaf souls. Do you care?
You know, anytime that you can get young people to catch a vision for those who are less fortunate, this is the only way to live. And thank you to Miss Ospina, thank you to Miss Doster, thank you to the teenagers putting your heart into it. And we enjoyed that. I mean, it was really moving. I am so honored to have my friend with me, Brother Tommy Ashcraft, and he is a veteran. How many years have you been?
54.
54. Now, you're a third generation? Second generation. So when did your father go?
1960.
Oh, my soul. How old were you?
I was 14.
Oh. Anybody ever tell you that you're mature, old, or?
Yeah, all the time.
So, but
I've had
he,
kids ask me, "Are you Santa Claus?"
see, if you just grow a beard, you could be Santa Claus, and there you go.
Thank you.
Anytime. So, but he told us last night he has a grandson. You have a grandson.
Yes.
That's on the deputation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, go ahead and put his picture up there, and then kind of tell us the wife. That's your granddaughter, of course. Go ahead. Tell us about them.
Well, our daughter and her husband, Henry Gonzalez, Tammy and Henry Gonzalez, are missionaries in El Salvador. They've been there since 1997. And Daniel was just a toddler when they went. And Daniel and Megan graduated from Hyles Anderson College, and they're on deputation to go back work with his dad in El Salvador.
Amazing. And you were telling us last night about your daughter, your son-in-law, them meeting, and that's hilarious to me. But then you said something in the middle of it that something along the line, you need to take them on, right? Yeah. So I'm going to save you, Brother Daniel, I'm going to save you and your dear wife a trip to Texas, and welcome to the EBC family of missionaries, and we would love to support you. But from what I hear about your daddy, her dad, his father-in-law is Henry, right?
No,
that's his dad.
Henry.
His father's Henry, right? Henry, you ain't getting no support after what we heard last night. No, I'm kidding. but would love to take it on, and that way we can have 3 generations of missionaries.
How about that?
And that's just amazing. Okay, so I am glad you're here, because
this is one of our favorite places.
Oh, you've been a family friend for ages.
Long time.
A long time. And whenever I kind of needed a seat someplace, you always got the best seats at all the conferences, and it'd be like, hey, let me kind of tag with you. But you've been in the ministry for just a long time, and people like myself that were kind of just this 35-year, right? But then you have these young guys that are coming up, like Brother Ethan Graham, that he stood up, and I think that all of us would say when he started down the text, it was like he didn't even realize what he was saying. No. And I think that we all were blessed. But somebody had a question, and the question was, here you are, years in the ministry. If you could go back and take something from here and do it back here, what would it be? What advice would you give?
Well, I have commented several times to groups of young people that I would not change any decision that has brought me to where I am today. Of course, that does not mean that all of my decisions were good decisions, and that there are some I would not change. But and I think I would give this advice to any young, especially a young preacher, but any young person. Seek friendship with mature, older people than you are, people who have been around the block a couple of times, people who have been where you are. It's wonderful to fellowship with your peers, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I heard your dad say something one time that was, to me, was so significant. Find someone that is where you want to be, when you are that age and find out what they did to get there and do it?
When I was 19, I came to work for my dad, and I was struggling. I was just struggling those beginning 6 months. And I went to see him, and he said to me, Bob, you're 19. Act like you're 29, and then hang around those people that are like that decade, that 15 years ahead. And it was the most sage advice that I've ever received. And it is true. Because people that have been down the road further, and it is amazing how much smarter your parents get the longer you live, because you're like, how did they handle all these things you have to juggle when you get to that kind of age? When did you know that? Because young people will watch this. There are moms and dads watching this, and you said something last night that is bold. But it's right, but it's bold to the hearer. So when you pastor and you preach a lot, you don't know the receiving on the other end. But when you sit and you listen, as a pastor, I was like, oh, would you please say that again? And that is a parent's reaction when their child comes down, or God's moving in their child's heart. And so having children, of course, and grandchildren, and seeing God's call in their life, what would you do to encourage just parents to do with their children to prepare them to hear God's call?
Well, obviously, I don't think there's anything more fulfilling or more enjoyable than serving God. And there are difficulties and hardships, but there are those in any walk of life, any profession that you choose. There are going to be struggles and difficulties, but the rewards are that we have who serve God full time are eternal, and our investments as far as time and resources are in the lives of people. And when you see what little you can do for someone produces such rich rewards, if you stop and think, you want that for the people that you love.
Yes.
So if you really love your child, and every parent loves their children, and every parent wants the best for their children, and I understand that, and I understand when a parent struggles with the knowledge, okay, my child is choosing to go to the mission field or choosing to go into the ministry. You have that apprehension about you know they're going to struggle, you know they're going to face hardships, but those hardships are part of life, and they're part of what makes life enjoyable. You don't get the joy out of life without the struggles in life. So, and one thing that I had to learn with my own children is there comes a point when you have to let go, and hard. you have to allow that child to make decisions. Some of them, are going to cause them problems. You know they're going to make mistakes, but you have to let them make their own mistakes. You cannot save them from all of those difficulties that they're going to face. God will use to help them learn what life's all about.
And with your children, and I know all parents are proud of their children, right?
Sure.
We just are proud. But I was really thinking about your children growing up on the mission field, right? It took away fears from you, because you know some of the fears, I think. But what would you encourage to the parents of taking a missions trip? So here these parents are sitting out here, and they've never been on mission trips. They've never been to a foreign country. What encouragement would you give to them in light of preparing their hearts for God to call their children?
Well, that's a broad subject.
That's a broad one.
Yeah, but I think anytime, I think for a person to experience a different culture, and especially when you go to a third world country,
Yeah.
where they do not have the privileges that people in the United States of America have. And you see those people function and live and enjoy life in spite of their hardships and their material limitations. I think that helps a young person come to realize what life is all about. Life is not about things.
Yeah.
Life is not about material things. Life is about what you invest your life in, and especially for a Christian, when you invest your life in people, those are the most rewarding things.
Okay, so every family that's a ministry family has funny things that happen that you just sit back and you go, like nobody would believe this. You know what I mean? Like there are things that happen in the Gray family that becomes, it's an instant funny because it's an instant connect to something back there. Like my siblings just sent me a clip today that when we were kids, and the minute I saw it, I was just like, okay, that's priceless. Are there any of those things that would help us, would encourage our hearts, so to know that y'all are human?
When my mom and dad started deputation back in 1960, one Sunday morning, he was going to preach in a church in Cleburne, Texas, Chase Avenue Baptist Church, Cleburne, Texas. I'll never forget it. J.C. Lott was the pastor. I mean, this is 6 decades ago, and so when we got to the church that Sunday morning, all 4 of us were sitting in the back seat of the car, and my dad turned around and pointed his finger at us. Apparently, the Wednesday night before, my sister and 2 brothers had misbehaved.
Of course.
Yeah. And so he turned around and pointed his finger and he said, I want to tell you kids something. I don't know where this pastor is going to take us for lunch. I don't know if we're going to go to a home or to a restaurant, but you kids are going to sit there and you are going to be quiet and you're not going to say a word. And my whole life flashed before me. So we go to the service, we go to a restaurant, the pastor and his wife, mom and dad, and then we 4 kids were sitting on that side of the table. Mom and dad and the pastor and his wife were sitting on this table. I mean, we were just little statues. We were not moving. So my dad got up to go to the restroom. When he came back, he was trailing about a 20-foot tail of toilet paper that had got caught in his belt. And my brother David, who was 5 at the time, chuckled, and I said, "Shut up! I've never kissed a girl. I don't want to live. Please." So he couldn't keep him laughing. He's 5 years old. He couldn't keep him laughing. Well, my mom turned around and saw Dad, and she started laughing, and the pastor and his wife started laughing. So that gave us permission to laugh, and that's what saved our lives.
You've always had that humor about you. Have you always been this way? Or do I need to call the kids and?
Well, I'll tell you just a little tidbit.
Okay.
Emily, my wife Emily, says that one reason that she decided to accept my proposal for marriage was her mother said, "You need to marry someone that will make you laugh." And Emily says I make her laugh.
Because last time
I told her one time, "Honey, you need to embrace your problems." So she gave me a hug.
And Miss Emily sitting with us here in the studios, and so through your time preaching at all these churches, right? Like, how many churches do you think? Come on,
it's hundreds,
thousands, and hundreds,
probably,
and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So all the times you've been preaching, is there a time it just went wrong in the pulpit? It just went wrong, and there's no getting it back. Has there ever been that time?
No, I've never preached a message.
Well, then you need to
All
write
of
a
my
book.
sermons are masterpieces.
You need to write a book. So are there any of those times that you're like,
oh yes,
I'm
one thing that
done.
comes to mind. Did you know Paul Henderson?
No, sir.
Brother Henderson pastored in it's a small town northwest of Fort Worth. Anyway, Bowie, Texas.
Okay.
He and my dad were very good friends.
Is that where BBTI is?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jordan and I were just there a couple of months ago on a Wednesday night.
Really?
Yeah.
So when my dad was on deputation, we were in that church several times. He and my dad were very good friends, good men. And Brother Henderson, his hobby was cameras and watches, and he bought and sold them just as a hobby. He didn't make any money off of them. And every time we'd go there, he would either give me a watch or give me a camera or something.
Yeah.
Very generous,
Yeah.
very giving man. Well, when I was on deputation, I preached there one Sunday night. And when I got up to preach, y'all, you want to say something funny. So I said, many of you don't know this, but the reason that Brother Henderson has so many missionaries in is because we have to use 10% of our love offering to buy watches and cameras from him, which everybody knew was not true.
Correct.
After the service, he took me out to eat, and he said, "Brother Tommy, you could have talked all night and not said anything any worse than that."
Oh no.
He said, some of my people have been criticizing me for my handling these things. Brother Bob, I would have rather died than say anything that would hurt that man. And I was immature. I didn't stop to think. So I learned something. Most of my humor in the pulpit is directed at me.
Got it.
I am the brunt. I'm the what do you call it? The object of
Right.
not someone else.
In East Texas, I think they call it something else. But anyway, I cannot believe I cannot believe I just said that. Forgive me, for I have sinned. So, oh, maybe we're gonna get comments about that one. So you are, because it is true, isn't it? You said something to where when pastors are the heroes of their own stories,
right?
They go from hopping over a car to leaping over a building.
Right.
It's like, come on, I just
Single
heard.
down.
Yeah. Anyways, so what is going on in your life right now? So where? Because I know your son now is pastoring there,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. So where are you at with what God's doing in your ministry?
I started in pastor church 34 years.
Mm-hmm.
John came to work with me 12 years ago. No, longer than that. Anyway, he worked with me 8 years. And then in 2016, the church voted him in as pastor. And so since then, I've been traveling. Emily and I, my wife and I, travel preaching missions conferences. Mm-hmm. There are two things that I tell churches when I go there. We are recruiting students for the college, mm-hmm. and then raising funds for the college. So I tell them, you can either send me students or money or both.
You want both.
So that's where we are. And when I first turned the church over to Jonathan, I told my wife, Brenda, who was my wife then, she's in heaven now. I said, what if nobody invites me? What if nobody wants me? I said, just sit here and do nothing. But God has been so good.
Yeah, honestly, it's a treat for you to come this way. And I know that when you were pastoring, not being out of the pulpit on Sunday, right? But then being out of the pulpit on Sunday and going into churches to see them on the weekend. Mm-hmm. What started happening in your realization of the conditions? Because all are great churches, all have their own personalities.
Right.
But what kind of transition was that for you, from pastoring to now being a guest speaker on the weekend?
Oh, it was radical. I was accustomed to a routine. I had, like every pastor, I had my own routine. I did the same thing every day basically same thing every day of the week. I traveled then some, but I tried never to be out 2 weeks in a row, and I was usually Monday through Wednesday. For a long time, we had our midweek service on Thursday night. Okay. So I'd get back Thursday. I would teach in a college on Wednesday morning, have service Thursday night, college Wednesday morning, Fisherman's Club Friday night, bus calling Saturday morning, and then, of course, Sunday. Mm-hmm. and I tried not to be out 2 consecutive weeks. But this is no 2 weeks are alike.
Oh, I can't imagine.
But at the same time, the variety is very enjoyable. I said something, Brother Moore asked me the other day. He said, "You enjoy traveling, don't you?" No, I do not enjoy traveling. Emily and I enjoy what we do when we get there.
Yes.
But the traveling is you know what
Yeah,
it is.
it is.
It's a burden.
It is. It is.
But it is. I'll be honest with you. The churches that we have been in, I've been encouraged about what's going on. There are a lot of good churches. There are a lot of good men that are getting the job done. That I hope we have been able to encourage, especially along the lines of soul winning and missions and church building. We had a very successful Sunday school, and I have a Sunday school manual in Spanish that we share with pastors. Emily is a consummate children's worker and spent years working bus ministries and as a Christian school teacher. So she has so much to offer when we go to a church.
And I think for me, the thing that I enjoy is meeting new believers, right? Yeah. And you can tell they're new. Yeah. And the jokes and the truths that don't work on other people, they eat them up. And it's like, okay, that's enjoyable. And to hear people's stories of where they come from, what is going on. And I know your daughter's not too far from here.
Right, they're in Mesquite in a missions conference.
They're in a missions conference.
My son Jonathan is in California in a missions conference with Brother Ezekiel Salazar. We're here, and our daughter and son-in-law Tammy and Henry are in Mesquite, just a couple hours away.
So I have to make it a family deal. So I want to take on Brother Henry and your daughters. Just don't let him know that
I will.
I'll send it to her. I won't send it to him. Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's
because
right.
I think it would be so neat to support a dynasty of things that are going on. Yeah. And to me, that's just a joy. How has deputation changed? Like Brother Ethan getting ready to go out, this is his first missions conference. How has that changed today than what it has? So how could we, because I've never been on deputation, right? So, but how could we pray for these missionaries that come through? What piece of advice would you give everybody who's listening that we all go to different churches? So when a missionary comes through, what is the best thing that we could do for them real time in the moment to where they're encouraged and that they walk away knowing somebody believes in me? So what has changed and what can we do? I know broad questions. So.
Oh, wow. That is a broad question. Brother Bob, we have been treated so well, and we're not treated better anywhere than we are here.
Thank you. I paid you to say that.
Yes, handsomely.
Yeah. Or I will.
And we've been very well received. I kind of, be honest with you, I kind of not worry, but I wonder, because I don't know, if the way we are treated is because of our veteran status, and I'm not sure how if younger missionaries, new missionaries are treated as well as we are. I hope they are.
Right, I agree.
But I think the one thing that has changed, when my dad started deputation, Independent Baptist didn't have any money. I mean, it was
tough.
A struggle to go from one place to the other.
By the way, what was the cost of gasoline back then?
Oh, it's probably 25, 30 cents a gallon.
But in relation, your love offerings were...
Oh, yeah. And we made it, we did fine. And deputation experience can be an enriching experience. And I taught our college students, we have missionaries on 18 different foreign fields. And I told them, take advantage of deputation, learn. when you go to church, don't just go present your ministry and leave. Look around, observe, look at what that church is doing. Look what that pastor's doing. Look how he treats his people, and learn. Take notes, and then let God use that.
Because they are adding to their portfolio of how they're going to do it on the mission field.
Absolutely.
So everybody's your teacher, right?
Right.
So people are teaching you how not to do it.
Yeah.
People are teaching you how to do it.
Yeah.
So prayerfully, you can take a negative, turn it to a positive, and carry these two. Yeah. Brother Ashcraft, thank you for being at our missions conference. And thank you for taking this time on encouragement at Emmanuel. Amen. And I am excited for you. I'm excited for your bride. I'm excited for what God's doing. And I know that next week is our big conference. Is it going to be online? Can people view online? Okay. So what we'll do is we will put in the program notes in the very bottom of this. We'll put links on there. We'll add links. And then, of course, you have books in Spanish and some in English. Right. So we'll find out where you can go get those at. And please invest in Brother Ashcraft's ministry, and we'll make sure that we put all the websites down there. And even if you send something to Emmanuel Baptist and just kind of make a memo of Brother Ashcraft, and we'll make sure his wife gets it, not him. And we love you and thank you very much. We're going to end the broadcast with our ladies were able to sing, and they blessed us tremendously. And so I got this idea a couple of weeks ago when we were testing out the PA system and trying to make sure everybody's okay. So I'm sitting there going, how do I do this? Because, Wednesday night you don't have choirs. I'm like, okay, all the ladies get up here, all the men get up here, all the youth get up here. And then all of a sudden I was like, I know what I need to do. So when people think you plan conferences, you plan, but then it's like, okay, God, there's a missing element here. So I would just encourage you tonight, all the singles and teenagers of our church are going to be filling the choir loft. They're going to be singing 2 songs. We are going to have a great time. Brother Ashcraft, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
and we sure do love you. And count you as a friend and a mentor. You're talking about them older people. You're it, grandfather. So anyway, hey, enjoy the ladies. God bless you. And if you want to communicate, text us, email us, and we'll put all that at the very end of the show. God bless you, my friend. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Jesus
Yes, amen.